Alrighty folks, thanks for clicking on today's video. James Cards FC here, and I am back. I'm not sure when the last time I posted was. I think it was towards the end of August, but in any event, I did do a podcast with Seth from Soccer Card Corner. That's the name. I was thinking about doing a script or something like that, but I don't like to script my videos, and so you're just going to have to deal with me struggling through pretty much this entire video as I try to get used to re-recording my presentations and all that sort of fun stuff. So in any event, I was on a podcast with Seth a month or two ago, I believe, where I talked about my thoughts on the market and some things like that. So if you saw that, that's where I was then. And then today, or sometime around when this video came out, I did a podcast with Andre Soccer Study, and he convinced me to go ahead and post another video to this channel today. So I went ahead and did it. Today, I'm going to be talking about I'm back, but is the market, soccer card market, and this will be a channel update for the month of January 2024. 2024, that's crazy, isn't it? But does feel good to be back. We'll see how long I can struggle through this presentation before it starts to feel natural again, but yeah, we're going to talk about this. I'm back. Is the market back? That's the subject we're on today. These cards on the screen that you're seeing right here are actually cards that I got graded recently, so those are actually in my possession as of now, but I think all of them are heading to eBay auction here pretty soon. So by the time you see this video, maybe they've already been auctioned off. Alrighty, new year, new season, same story. So the calendar year just recently turned to 2024, which is kind of crazy to say, but yeah, the soccer market season is still already and it's been in full swing. The overall sports card market and soccer card market continue to dip towards their pre-pandemic levels, and I don't know when that is going to end. On the left-hand side of the screen, we have the Card Ladder 50 index. This shows the 50 most iconic cards according to Card Ladder and how they've trended over the past 3 years. I believe the Messi 71 Biz and the Ronaldo Mega Cracks rookie are both in this, so it does include a couple of soccer cards, and you can see that it pretty much matches the soccer card index that Card Ladder uses as well, and so soccer is pretty much in lockstep with the general market, trending back towards those 2021 and 2020 level prices. So where does this end? I have no idea. If I had to completely guess, no financial advice, I think we're still going to be trickling back a bit until we reach a point where there's a catalyst and a reason for these cards to go up and a reason for more people to get involved in these cards, especially with a lot of money. And I'm not sure where that catalyst is. I don't see one on the horizon, but perhaps this could change in the future. But for now, I think we're still in this level of stagnation and a bit of depression in the prices until something comes to force that to be a change. Alrighty, let's talk briefly about why I've been gone in case anybody is curious as to why I've stopped posting. The main reason is because I got a new job. So when I started posting content back in, oh goodness, was that early 2022 was my first videos? Do not go back and watch those. There's probably some terrible takes and just general terribleness in them. But yeah, if you go back to 2022 when I started making videos, I think I released my first 30 or something videos on like a once a day or once every other day, sometimes twice a day schedule. And that was because I had a job that allowed me to work from home for the entire time I was working there. So it was really easy to go ahead and make videos on the side while I was also doing work. And that's no longer the case in my current job. I only work from home once or twice a week. So I just don't have as much time as I used to find time to make these videos, especially the more detailed ones. Second point, personal life stuff is taking away the majority of my free time. Not going to get into that, but personal life, it definitely comes before cards and definitely comes way before making videos about cards. So that is taking up the majority of my free time. The third point, I've pivoted into other sports for Raw to Grade. If you've watched this channel at all, you know that I think Raw to Grade is the way that I have the most fun in the market, and I think it's the best way to navigate the market, in my opinion. If you want to try and keep funds going and spend money on the hobby and keep that money in the hobby and all that sort of thing that comes with Raw to Grade. I think that's the best way to participate, and that's what this channel covered a bit, especially more towards the later stages in August and July and over the summer when I was most recently posting. So as you know from that, I started just basically grading soccer cards only, and I've pivoted back recently into pretty much doing anything but soccer. This doesn't mean that I believe in those markets more than I do the soccer card market. I still believe in the soccer card market long term more than any of the other sports card markets. But in this little time that we're in right now, I believe in the other major American sports more than I do soccer, specifically in the ultra modern side of the market. So when I'm talking about ultra modern American football cards, ultra modern baseball cards, ultra modern basketball cards, maybe not basketball, but at least baseball and football. I believe in those markets in the ultramodern side a lot more than I believe in ultramodern soccer, and I think there's obvious catalysts for that market in terms of player performances and playoffs and drafts and a bunch of things that get the market juiced for those sports. They just don't have that equivalent in soccer on the ultramodern side, so I pivoted into those for my raw to grade journey. That does not mean I'm using my raw to grade funds to buy basketball cards or baseball cards or football cards. Those the money that I make in raw to grade will still be going towards iconic soccer cards, but for the raw to grade itself, I'm not focusing on soccer, so I really haven't felt the need to post much about my raw to grade journey because the majority of it is no longer soccer focused, and I'm not sure if my current audience would want to see a bunch of American football cards or Japanese baseball cards, but maybe I'm wrong. If you want to see stuff like that, I could definitely try and put together videos that focus on all things that I'm doing raw to grade. Next point, I've become too old and rigid to keep up with the ultramodern product. This is specifically when it comes to soccer. Panini and Topps are treating soccer like it's baseball, and they're killing the ultramodern side of the market, and in effect killing the other parts of the market as well. So if you're in ultramodern, you know this. There's a new set that comes out literally like every week, every couple weeks. Panini or Topps will put out a new soccer set. They're treating it like it's baseball and has the capacity to take on cards and prices like baseball does, and it's not. Soccer's like maybe a 20th of the size right now, and they're releasing not a 20th of the product. So yeah, Panini and Topps are just releasing too many sets. There's too many parallels. There's too many cards for everybody in ultramodern, and so I've just given up on trying to keep up with it and completely pivoted ultramodern into the other American sports that actually have less product. Like American football has way less product than soccer does, and the audience for American football is like way bigger, at least in America, obviously, than soccer is. So it doesn't make much sense to me, but at least for the time being, I just cannot be asked to continue to keep up with the ultramodern soccer market, so that's why there hasn't been any videos reviewing checklists or things like that. There's just way too much of it out there. Next point, there's no new FOMO in the soccer card market. I'm going to go through a list of players and we'll talk about... Actually, I'll take it a step back first. FOMO is fear of missing out. If you have not watched my video on FOMO, I released it probably a year ago. It's one of my signature styles of data-driven content where we talk about fear of missing out on its impact on the sports card market. So if you're interested in that, I would recommend watching that because it's going to give you a good look at why prices move the way they move in the sports card market. So I would watch that, but when I talk about FOMO, that's what I'm talking about. Fear of missing out. The reason people buy into cards is because they get scared they're going to miss out on something, and so they spend a lot of money to get in on something, and hopefully before it explodes. The problem is there's just no FOMO in the soccer card market right now. So you have a guy like Bellingham who got a nice little bump at the beginning of the season, but a lot of this was already priced in, and he has so many cards that bump really hasn't been all that huge, despite the fact that he's been playing in a Ballon d'Or level and is, if not the best player in the world, one of the best players in the world right now, and his prices really haven't gone up that much. Whereas if he had a lot less cards or the market was a lot more robust, his prices would be going crazy. Then you have a guy like Balogun, who completely rest in peace. His market is down like 80% from the peak. Yeah, a lot of people are getting taken out on a stretcher on Balogun. I told you guys that this was going to happen in the summer when I released a video about Folarin Balogun, saying, hey, this is probably the peak of his market. There's a chance he moves to a club in the transfer window that isn't all that popular, and he falls off the map in form, and literally all those things happened. The U.S. hasn't played a meaningful game in almost a year now, so nobody cares about Balogun anymore. Despite that, I did still buy a few of his cards to grade. This is an example of one of them on the screen right now. I got a PSA 6 on a nice blue ice Balogun that I'm going to take a nice little loss on. I'm going to be taking on a stretcher on that card. But yeah, that's just what happens. The risk of raw to grade, and I should have listened to my own advice. Don't buy at the peak, especially on a super obvious peak like Balogun just had, but this is more the point that Balogun had all the FOMO in the world going for him, and now nobody even cares about him anymore, and so there's no more FOMO. Does that change for him in the future? Probably not, because his prices already had so much baked in, and they crashed so hard, it would take a lot for them to come back up at this point, but That's what's going on with Folarin Balogun. You have Erling Haaland. He is injured. Haven't heard from him in a few months. At least it feels like that. So nothing going on with his market as it continues to trickle back, because when he's not playing and scoring goals, you don't really have people clamoring to buy his cards, especially for higher prices than they were at before. Then there's Kylian Mbappe. The power has seemingly gone out in League One. I haven't heard from Mbappe in months. I haven't really heard about Mbappe since the World Cup, actually. So the power's gone out for him for about a year in the eyes of probably the mainstream market. So his prices continue to trickle down as well. I don't think he's playing at a Ballon d'Or level. I wouldn't know because I haven't heard from him. But yeah, not a lot going on in Mbappe or Haaland's market. And since they really are supposed to push more ultra-modern product, nothing really seems to be happening. And I don't think there's any other prospect out there that's really pushing and moving product. You have Lamine Yamal, who is now going to have numbered cards. I think his first numbered cards started releasing this week. They're going for obscene prices. Do not buy those. Lamine Yamal cards are going to come out and they're going to go for crazy prices. And in my opinion, I just don't think there's any room for them to go up because they're just going to start too high. Then you have a guy like Garnacho, who has had some standout goals and some good performances, but he has so many cards that none of them can really go up in price because there's just too many of them out there. So yeah, not a lot of FOMO possible on the soccer card market right now. If a guy comes along that has very few rookie cards, I've said this a million times, and he comes out of nowhere and scores goals or gets highlights, his prices will move, but that is just really, really hard to do right now, and there's not a lot of players that fit that description. The majority of players are in every single set and have hundreds and hundreds and thousands of serial numbered parallel cards and a bunch of expectations built into them, and there's just nowhere for their prices to go but down. The last point here, why I haven't been making videos recently, is I feel like I've already said everything that I can possibly say about past released sets or past players that are no longer active, and this hasn't changed. As I've said in many videos at this point, I like the most obvious sets of the most obvious players in the highest grade or parallel that you can afford, and this is looking out into the long term for soccer. That's what I like. I think it makes the most sense. I know it's boring, and it doesn't really get a lot of excitement on sets like, I don't know, Revolution, for example. Maybe that could be a big set in the future, but saying something like that doesn't make a lot of sense in my opinion. So, yeah, I like the most obvious sets, most obvious players, highest grade or parallel you can afford. That hasn't changed, and that continues to be true even through this dip phase if you have a long-term outlook. Alrighty, then we'll talk about this channel, and specifically a content shift. So, I haven't decided yet, and I don't know if I have the capacity to, but if I do come back to making content on a more regular basis, there will be a shift in my production and style. So I think the days of massively detailed, data-driven presentations are behind me. I don't have the passion or time to do these anymore, and it's too daunting for me even to want to get started on. So, for example, the video that I put together that I think is probably the best video I've ever done, it talks about why I believe in pre-modern and vintage soccer cards in the long run. Putting together a video like that takes like a week, and it's grinding away at PowerPoint and building charts and looking at data, and I just don't really have the passion right now to do that anymore because I don't really have a subject like that I need to revisit and do a bunch of data diving on and that sort of thing. And so I think the days of me putting together videos like that are behind me unless something comes out of nowhere and I feel like I have a good subject to do a super detailed data presentation on, and I think people can derive a lot of value out of it, and I just haven't seen an opportunity where that is the case recently. So I don't know if those videos are ever going to come back, but as of right now, I just don't have the passion to do videos like that. So if somebody wants to take the mantle from me on that, please do, and I'll promote you on your journey. When I first started making content, I modeled it a little bit after Soccer Study and a few other people that were doing that sort of content, and I sort of put my own spin on it, focused on ultramodern, put the little camera up in the top right-hand corner, a lot of data-driven stuff, and so as I'm starting to phase out of that, if there's anybody that wants to do content like that, please feel free to do it. I'll promote you. I'll help you if you need somebody to bounce ideas off of, that sort of thing. This last bullet point here is important. If you're in school or working a part-time job and can consistently make the type of videos that I used to make about ultramodern product, specifically with slightly better production value than what I have, I guarantee that you'll be the biggest soccer card channel in this space in the next 6 months. I have no doubt if somebody makes consistent content with a little bit higher production value than what I was doing about the topics that I was making, where you're talking about tiers list for new sets, or ranking soccer prospects in terms of their stats, or things of that nature, talking about the ultra-modern side of the market. If you look at what gets views on YouTube for the other sports, it's content exactly like that. So if you do something like that, I guarantee if you do it consistently, you'll be the biggest soccer card market channel in 6 months' time, maybe even sooner, if you're putting together some really high-quality stuff. So I'll pass that on to whoever wants to do it. If you have the time to, I would definitely recommend it, especially if you have the passion to do so. So in the future, if and when this channel does make a comeback into regular posting, this channel will be posting about major news or shifts in the soccer card market. I just feel like there haven't been any that I need to touch on recently, so I haven't made any videos about major news or shifts because there just haven't been any. There would be podcast-style topic reviews of things, so just me giving my general ideas about things, not going into super deep data analysis, but just talking about things in a more laid-back way. There would probably be something about Q&A, but not with the deep detail analysis, charts, and graphs that takes me like a week to prepare and 20, 30, 40 hours of work that I don't get paid to do. But yeah, I could do some simple Q&A and just say things like, you got to trust me on this one because I have almost... Do I have 5 years experience now? Yeah, I do have 5 years experience now in the soccer card market. So I could answer those questions to the best of my ability without having to do a full work week worth of digging through data and doing analysis. So I would definitely be open to taking Q&A questions. If you have any that you want to be answered, feel free to leave them in the comment section of this video, and I will get around to them when I put together a Q&A. And maybe that's actually a better format for the channel, is me just going through Q&A and the content or in the comment section, making videos off of them. That's pretty much what SEV Sports Card does. If you're not watching his content and you like Raw to Grade or Ultra Modern, I would definitely recommend it. I think he has the best sports card channel on YouTube right now, so I would model my Q&A after his, where he is so instinctual with the market. He doesn't even really use data analysis because he's been in the market since 2018 and he just knows these things. That's the sort of type of style I would be doing those Q&A in. This channel would also post potentially about my PSA grading submissions. However, 90% of these cards now that I'm submitting are not soccer related, so I'm not sure if the audience that is currently on this channel would be interested in that. But if you want to see what I'm raw to grading for the reasons of just seeing the process, I can go ahead and try and put together videos on that as well. And that probably wouldn't take too much time to do. But in short, I don't have the time or passion for making the super detailed, lengthy videos that I used to, at least at this current time. Maybe that returns someday, but for now, if I were to come back to the content, it would feel different, and it would probably revolve around some of the things that I've discussed in this video. And with that, we'll get to the conclusion slide. The conclusion, thanks for watching. As always, thanks for tuning in. This channel is not dead. James Cards FC is not retiring. I've actually bought more cards in the past month than any month since the pandemic. It just so happens that I don't think any of them are soccer cards. I'm raw grading a lot of American football and a little bit of Japanese baseball. Those are the two markets I like to raw grade right now, and so I just haven't seen those sort of opportunities appearing in the soccer market, so I just haven't been buying soccer cards. I'm not going to buy soccer cards just to buy soccer cards for no reason. I still think there needs to be a reason for why you're buying something rather than just buying things at random, and so I just haven't had a reason to buy soccer cards to raw grade recently. As I said before, the videos in the future will likely be different, probably more in the style of this current video you're watching right now, or some of the topics that I discussed previously. If that interests you, feel free to go ahead, like, comment, subscribe as you usually would. If not, and you're looking for more of those data-driven, big, detailed, deep dive videos that I used to do, this channel is probably not going to look like that, at least in the near future. So feel free to watch my previous videos. They're still all as relevant as they were when they were released. The topics definitely attribute to the things we're seeing now because it covers things like FOMO, it covers things like why prices move the way they move, talks about prospecting when players have very few rookie cards versus when they have a lot of rookie cards, talks about all that sort of stuff. It's still very, very useful today, so go back and look at those detailed data dump, data drive videos if you're interested in that sort of thing. But going forward, I'm not sure if that's going to come back to this channel just because I don't have the time or the passion anymore to do such deep dive videos. So Videos will be different, and then let me know what you'd like to see, as long as it's not an in-depth breakdown of when the right time to buy the dip on legendary cards is or something of that nature. I just don't have the capacity to do that right now, and I would be giving probably bad advice because I have no idea when this dip is going to be. I could use some math and some analysis to try and formulate an opinion, but at the end of the day, it would just probably be a guess with some fancy numbers attached to it. But in any event, I thank you guys so much for watching. If there's something that you want to see on this channel, specifically questions you want to have answered, stuff like that, feel free to leave them in the comment section down below. I'm still as active as I've ever been in sports cards and soccer cards. I just haven't been buying many soccer cards, but I'm still definitely in tune with the market and prices and things of that nature. So I'm still here, just not have the reason, at least in my opinion, to put together some videos for you guys. But if you have ideas that you would like to see made or things of that nature, feel free to leave a comment down below. Feels good to get through a video after so long. Look forward to posting this. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff, and I will see you in whatever the next video ends up being.